Hey guys, today I've got a full story for you from start to finish, so stick around until the end, I'm sure you'll like it. The story starts with the main character walking through his school hallways. He hears the girls gossiping and is enchanted, looking at them. His cheeks even turn red. He mentions that there's only one reason girls dress provocatively. They want to get the guy's attention. Then we see the school bully calling the girls to go out. He's kind of rude, but the girls seem to like him, and they are interested in him, while the main character feels like a failure, wishing he was one of the popular guys. He looks at two girls further ahead, but when they notice him, he pretends not to see them. They whisper, saying they saw him looking at their dad and call him a loser. He comments that when he changed schools, he hoped to get a girlfriend, but he feels like it's only possible for guys above his level. Sitting at his desk, he starts crying, saying he wishes he had a girlfriend. At that moment, the most attractive girl in the school calls his name. He falls in love instantly. She asks why he has that strange expression and if it's because he doesn't want to talk to her. He's speechless. Her name is Blossom, and she's considered the most attractive in the school. She leans on his desk, and he smells her sweet perfume. The girl asks if he's living alone, like she'd heard. He confirms that yes, his parents work in another city, so he stays by himself. Then she asks if she can come to his house at night. He starts sweating and lets out a shout. She asks what's wrong and if he doesn't want her to come. Next she asks for his phone number, and he gives it to her. She tells him not to forget to send the address because she'll be there at 9 p.m. Then she leaves, and the main character starts freaking out. Getting home, he's anxious and wonders if she'll really show up. He starts thinking about her and how beautiful she is. So he makes the double bed quickly, but soon hears the doorbell ringing. He starts celebrating, and when he opens the door, there she is, standing in front of his apartment. He's shocked and doesn't know how to react, and then he looks down and sees that she brought all her suitcases, making him wonder if she ran away from home. Standing there, he doesn't know what to do, so she asks if she can come in. He quickly offers to help with the suitcases and keeps staring at Blossom. He says it doesn't matter if she ran away from home, the most important thing is that she's there. She searches the whole house and closes the curtains. When asking where the bathroom is, he tells her. At that moment, he realizes that she wants to sleep in his house and starts shaking nervously. She turns on the shower and he starts drooling, thinking about her taking a shower. When she gets ready to open the door, he runs away. When she comes out of the bathroom, he's completely enchanted to see her wearing something other than the school uniform. She passes by him and the main character doesn't move a muscle. Then she sits on the other side of the couch, picks up the remote and turns on the TV. They start watching the news. He wonders if it's okay to keep staring at her. She calls his name and he starts sweating, thinking she didn't like it. Then she asks if he has anything to drink, and he gets up quickly to get it. He brings a coffee with milk and she starts drinking it. He says he has a lot of questions to ask. Did she really run away from home? But none of that matters. The really important thing is that the most beautiful girl in the school is in his house, sitting on his couch. She gets up and says she's going to sleep, then asks which room she should stay in. He takes her to his parents' room and tells her to let him know if she needs anything. She asks if he's mad at her, even though they're not close, because she came to his house, took a shower, and watched TV in his living room. He says no, it's okay. Then she says that's really nice of him, and he turns all red with embarrassment. She waves goodbye and says goodnight, and he says goodbye too. On the other side of the room, he wonders if that was all, if she wasn't expecting something more. While she sleeps in his parents' bed, he stays on the other side of the door, wondering if she expects something more from him, since she didn't lock the door. He's tense, whether to open the door or not. With his hands shaking, he managed to touch the doorknob. The girl lying there hears all that and waits to see if something will happen. He thinks she might be going through a difficult situation and then decides not to go in. She realizes that he left the door and goes back to sleep peacefully. The next day, he wakes up to a very loud noise. When he goes to check, he sees the girl drying her hair and is shocked to see her in that position. So he stands there watching her dry her hair, looking at all parts of her body. His heart races, but he pretends he wasn't when she turns around. He says she's so beautiful he's going to have a heart attack. He makes breakfast for both of them. She sits down to eat with him and says she hasn't had breakfast in ages, and the main character is completely enchanted. While they get ready to leave, his sister Tate, he thinks they look like a couple. They had breakfast together, left for school together, and are walking side by side. He can't take his eyes off her for a second. He says his world has become even more beautiful. He starts to worry about what the other students will think. All the guys who have a crush on her will be jealous of him, even the toughest guys. Then he starts to feel scared. He thinks something bad will happen if the boys see them together, so he starts walking slower. The bully shows up and asks why she didn't answer his message. The main character is scared and keeps walking. The girl notices that the main character is ahead, so she ignores the bully and asks the main character to wait for her. Then the bully starts cursing at the main character and he's terrified. During physical education class, the main character complains about having team sports, because he's really bad at it. The ball goes out of the court, and when he goes to get it, he realizes that Blossom's there taking care of a little bunny. She gives it a plant to eat and smiles. It's the first time the main character sees the girl smiling. The other students curse at him to return the ball quickly, so he turns around and she realizes that he was there staring at her. He hears the girls gossiping about Blossom, saying she's boring and not even that pretty for the boys to like her so much. They also say she looks like a prostitute, and that the boys like her so much because she goes to bars and goes out with the older men in exchange for money. At that moment, the main character is distracted and gets hit in the face with a ball. He gets paper stuck in his nose and comments that he hoped the girl would at least ask if he was okay. When he goes to the bathroom, the boy calls him outside the school to fight. Already outside, he asks why the main character was coming to school with Blossom. He replies that it's because they were in the same class, and the boy starts hitting him. The main character starts crying and asks him to stop. Then Blossom appears. The main character is very embarrassed because she just saw him getting beaten up. The bully asks what she was doing with this guy, if she likes losers like him. The girl says yes, she likes him way more than losers like the bully. The main character is very emotional there. The bully thinks he didn't hear right, so she repeats that she likes the main character way more than losers like him. Then the bully slaps the main character in the face and starts provoking him again, but Blossom just runs and steps in front, protecting the main character. She says that people like him think it's cool to fight and that he's just taking his anger out on someone else because he's a failure. Then she takes the main character's hand and pulls him away from there. The bully keeps cursing and then they leave. His heart starts beating faster, and he keeps staring at her. He keeps thinking about the time she said she likes him, and he's completely in love. Then suddenly she lets go of his hand and stops for a second. She apologizes, and he says it's okay, he doesn't mind. Then she runs off and goes inside the school. The main character thinks that she only said that to annoy Sid, the bully, since he's a loser. He wonders what Blossom's doing at his house. Could it be that she's there because she really likes him? He's anxious to be able to go back to his house with her and wonders if the bullies will bother him again. She goes to his desk and calls him to go home together. He's excited. So, they leave. On the way, everyone looks at her. She's so beautiful that she catches everyone's attention, and the main character is embarrassed. She stops in front of a market and points to the entrance. She selects a few items, and he thinks they look like they're married or something. A supermarket employee says they make a beautiful couple, and asks if they're dating. The main character's heart starts beating faster, and he's apprehensive, wondering what she's going to answer. But she doesn't answer anything, smiles, and calls him to go to the cashier to pay. He thinks about how expensive that purchase was. Then he looks at her sucking on the lollipop, and she takes a new lollipop and puts it in his mouth, and he's very embarrassed, thinking it was worth it to have spent all that money at the market. Already at home, she tells him to watch TV while she prepares the food. The main character, without shame, keeps staring at her as always while she prepares dinner. She feels very hot, and then takes off her tie. The main character, from afar, watching everything, starts sweating. She prepares several dishes, then they sit down to eat. She notices that he doesn't take his eyes off her, so she tells him to eat. When he puts the piece in his mouth, he realizes it's very tasty. She asks if he liked it, and he says it's delicious, and she's happy. He says that everything she made was very good, and she says thank you, kind of shy, and he thinks that's very cute. He says her food is better than his mother's, who puts too much salt in everything, and he's surprised, since she didn't seem like a good cook. At that moment, she gives him a serious look, asking what she seemed like. He's speechless, and the atmosphere between them becomes tense. She asked Matt how she seemed, since he had said she didn't seem like a good cook. This doubt came from the rumors at school that said she went out with other guys for money. Practically all the students said that about her, and our protagonist heard everything. He knew that on the outside she seemed pretty cool, but on the inside she was a needy and confused person. He made an excuse, saying that some people don't seem like good cooks, but in reality they cook well. That's what he meant. Blossom got up and told Matt to wash the dishes because she was going to take a shower. While he finished washing the dishes, he watched the girl on the couch watching television. She seemed to be sulking at him, and that made the boy sad because finally they were getting along well. However, he knew that she must be going through a difficult situation. At that moment, the girl ended up falling asleep. He didn't stop watching her, and that stirred the curiosity to know who she really was. The next day, we saw Sam going to school by bike. He liked to take pictures and was photographing some landscapes. Some girls stopped and asked him to take a picture of them. We saw that Sam was quite popular and several girls liked him. He even stopped to take some pictures and realized that the girls were trying to seduce him. He said that his camera ran out of memory and that he would return another day to take more pictures of them. The girls complained because they would like more attention from him. Matt didn't know what Blossom was thinking, and that look of hers made him more and more curious. He imagined that she was still upset about what had happened the night before. His friend Sam passed by the same street to go to school, and they ended up meeting. He said that it was difficult to find Matt at school, and he hardly saw him there. They started talking, and the boy noticed that his friend was next to a girl. The protagonist introduced Blossom to his friend and said that she was a classmate. At that moment, Sam and the girl exchanged glances, and our hero's friend said that he would go ahead, because he had some things to do. Blossom asked Matt if that boy was close to him. In fact, they were friends since elementary school and always played video games together. With that, the girl turned around and said that Sam was very handsome, and our hero was quite upset to have heard that from her mouth. But they continued walking together to school. When they arrived there, several girls were commenting about Blossom and gossiping about her. Some girls were surprised that she was walking with Matt, because he was considered a fail boy. One of the girls says that probably the older man she was dating ran out of money and now she's dating a younger boy. Others imagine that, as she is popular, she is just mocking this fool. Sam listens to everything, and when he's about to complain to someone, that bully from the other day tells the girls to shut up. He does this because he likes Blossom and doesn't want people to speak badly about her. The girls start arguing with this bully, who threatens with an intimidating expression, making them quiet. The bully, dying of jealousy of Matt, says that he will end him. Sam hears everything, and when the bully leaves the room, he follows him to ensure the safety of his friend. The boy realizes that the bully is going to Matt's room, so he runs to Sid and asks where he's going and why he's so angry. He doesn't want to answer and tells Sam to stay out of it. Then our hero's friend hugs Sid, trying to find out what he's planning, and warns that if he happens to touch his friend, he'll be in trouble. The only thing Sid does is shake his legs and look away. Sam says he doesn't want anyone to see him fighting as he wants to focus on his studies, and as for Sid, he doesn't want to be humiliated in front of others. Therefore, it would be better for everyone if he didn't fight with Matt. Soon after that, he tells Sid to step away, and the boy obeys. He knew it wasn't good for his friend to be with Blossom, as she seemed to be problematic. At the exit of the school, everyone looks at the girl as if they were judging her. However, she ignores any judgment and talks to him about the guy from the morning. Matt is a little uncomfortable, as she seems interested in Sam and wants to know if they're close. Our hero says yes, that, as he had said, they were quite friends, and had known each other since elementary school. And, like all the girls in the school, she would also be in love with his friend. He thinks about this and even imagines them together, which would make much more sense than being with him, considered a failed and loser boy. Blossom asks why Matt fears his friend, since they are close. He says that this is not true, and that he does not fear his friend, thinking that she was provoking him. Then our hero confirms that Sam's a good person, and that he would never intimidate him, in addition to being a good student and also good at sports. Blossom asked what Matt was good at, and he said that he was not good at anything, with a frustrated look. She stopped and called him as they were in front of a baseball training center. She asked if he would like to play, and without many options, he entered the establishment. On the first attempt, he hit the ball with the bat and let out a very embarrassing scream. Although he hit it, he was embarrassed by the noise, while Blossom applauded, saying that he had done very well. Smiling, she said that he was really very good at baseball, which made Matt's cheeks blush. He revealed that he was nervous when practicing a sport, but he knew a little about baseball as his father had taught him when he was little. With that, he made several other strokes and hit them all. He asked her to try to play, as she had never played before. Blossom put a coin in the machine that launched the balls and positioned herself to hit. The protagonist, embarrassed, watched her legs, and his cheeks turned red. He feared that she would find out that he was looking at her, and when the ball was launched, she missed. He realized that her posture was not correct, but she was too beautiful for him to give any opinion. Just by watching her, his heart beat faster. She couldn't hit any ball, and he started to get impatient. Then he gave a tip for her to bend her knees a little and tilt her back a little. She did exactly what he had said. However, her legs were very closed, and he said that this hindered when swinging the bat. Then she called him to help her, as she couldn't adjust the posture. He tried to show how to do it, but this would only be possible if he touched her waist. She said it was okay, that he could touch her, which left Matt very embarrassed, asking if she was serious. From behind, she confirmed that yes, he would only be helping by putting his hand on her waist. With that, our hero, without shame, was very happy, and ended up helping the girl. With that, she finally managed to hit a ball. She couldn't believe it when she hit it and smiled beautifully. Matt could only imagine what her story would be, as the girl seemed to have run away from home and had nowhere to stay. She smiled a lot and jumped, which made Matt even more in love, saying that it didn't matter what problem she would cause him. What really mattered was her magical smile. Going back home, she says that her hands are numb, and he said that it had happened because they practiced a lot. She was very excited, saying that it was very fun, and that there was a moment when it even seemed like her arm was going to jump out. Even with her body aching, it was worth it, and she couldn't wait for the next opportunity to play again. Our hero had never seen her so excited, so smiling, his cheeks healed just by looking at her. With that, Blossom gets embarrassed and stops talking instantly, soon putting a lollipop in her mouth and continuing to walk. He realizes that she is no longer angry with him and that his life is becoming more and more interesting. Even though she seemed to be a tough girl, she was quite cute on the inside. Arriving home, he asks what she would like to eat, since he was going to cook. However, Blossom says that since he helped her play baseball, she would make the food today. With that, Matt is all excited when thinking about the hypothesis of seeing her cooking, like last time. However, when they arrive at his apartment, Sam is outside waiting. The boy exchanges glances with Blossom, and Matt already realizes that this is not a very good situation, since he is handsome. Sam said that he came to bring him dinner, as he learned that his friend was alone because his parents were living in another city. Matt said that it wasn't necessary, and Blossom watches that situation. This ended up forcing our hero to give any excuse, as Sam was saying that they seemed to be quite close as they went to each other's house. Matt said that she only came to borrow a video game, as she also likes to play. Sam doesn't believe much in that, and continues to exchange glances with Blossom. The atmosphere starts to get a little strange, and Sam questions if she couldn't wait another day to get this game. Matt gives a laugh without grace, and then Sam decides to leave, saying goodbye. He still tells Blossom to enjoy the game a lot, and she continues looking at him. This ends up leaving Matt with a little jealousy, as he knows that Blossom's quite popular and beautiful, and Sam's also very popular at school. He even imagines that he did well in lying, as she seemed to be the type of girl who wouldn't want others to know that she was living with a loser. Later, while drinking tea, he imagines if that excuse had fooled his friend or not, and even gets afraid that Blossom will end up leaving if someone finds out that she is living there. She comes out of the shower with a towel in her hands, and the protagonist watches the girl, as she seems quite mysterious. He continues staring at her and disguising every time she turns around. When she squats down to pick up the remote, he looks at her legs, and the girl turns around quickly, catching him in the act. Then she asks if he is uncomfortable, and he tells her to feel at home, that everything is fine. He even likes her to stay there. But that wasn't what she meant. She was asking for it if he was uncomfortable because her friend might have realized that she was living there. She even asked what he would do if Sam told everyone. He said that if that causes her problems, she can go anywhere else. However, Matt says that everything is fine, and he doesn't care if someone finds out. The girl seems to be a little more relieved and sits down to watch television. She whispers very quietly, saying thank you. He asks what she had said, but the girl doesn't say anything. Besides being mysterious, she seemed to be a little shy, or even proud. Continue watching for you to see the real reason that she is living there with him. I bet you'll be surprised. She wanted to continue living with him, and in return, our hero would also like her to stay there forever. The next day early, as usual, they go to school together side by side. Sam goes by another path just to follow them. A group of girls criticizes Blossom, saying that she is very conceited and that she thinks she is superior to others. This redhead is the leader of the group and seems to detest Blossom, as the girl is very popular and attracts the attention of the boys, which makes her irritated. They insist that the boys shouldn't be in love with Blossom, as she's a girl who earns money by going out with older men. The friends comment that Mia is quite bad and doesn't care about anyone, only about Sam, as she was in love with him. One of the girls asks what Mia will do when Sam finds out that she smokes, as he only liked reserved and nerd girls. Mia asks if the girl wants her to tear her tongue off, and that ends up leaving the girl afraid. That girl there seems to be quite a psychopath, and all her friends are afraid of her. Later she ends up meeting Sam and starts spraying perfume on his neck to try to impress him. He greets her making a friendly face and says goodbye waving his hand. That is enough to leave her all excited, because the boy she liked had noticed her. With that, Sam turns around and says that he wants to ask her something. The woman says that he can say what he wants. However, he seems to hesitate a little and says that it is nothing, that he has nothing to ask her. With that, he apologizes and says goodbye. The girls already think that he was going to call Mia to go out and that he ended up being ashamed and gave up. That leaves her with a lot of hope, because the boys she always liked seem to be in love. The friends keep saying that she is lucky because one of the most popular boys in the school was interested in her. Later she is in the bathroom, all in love, singing romantic songs. Determined to call him to go out, she puts on makeup and fixes her clothes. She looks in the mirror and sees that she really is very beautiful. Right after that, she goes to Sam's room and asks where he was going. He says that he is going to the cafeteria, so she invites herself to go along. She takes his arm and says that it would be great to have lunch with him. Without choices, he ends up going, and the girl keeps staring at him, leaving the atmosphere quite strange. She was trying to seduce Sam, and he ends up asking if she has anything to say to him. The girl wanted to declare herself to Sam, but asked him to speak first what he wanted to say earlier, imagining that it would be a declaration of love. He says that he hadn't asked anything because they weren't close, and the girl is already excited, saying that everything is fine, that they could get to know each other better later. Then he asks about Blossom and if, by chance, Mia knew her. That leaves the girl quite irritated, and asks why the hell she should know that girl, and if Sam is interested in her. He says that he is just curious, and the girl has a psychopathic look towards her crush. Soon after that, she gets up and says that she's going to leave, furious, blaming Blossom for having stolen the boy she liked. Later, the blondie is finishing taking the clothes out of the machine and warns Sam that she has already washed his clothes and that he could put it to wash. He runs to put his clothes in the machine, imagining that he is practically leading a life as a couple, that this week could be considered his honeymoon. While messing with the clothes, he says not to keep thinking about that, as it seemed that he had gotten dirty. At that moment, he finds a panty inside the machine, and when picking it up, he is shocked. Then Blossom appears behind him and sees the whole scene. She asks him to hand over her clothes, and with her face very flushed, says that she will make sure to pick up everything next time, and then runs away in shame. Our hero is hopelessly in love and says that he wouldn't mind if she stayed at his house forever. At that moment, his cell phone rings and she answers it. It seemed that someone was planning to meet with her tomorrow, and Blossom gets a slightly sad expression, as if something bad was going to happen. The scene changes, and we see those girls who detest Blossom. They went to a street full of motels and keep asking a girl who lives there if she had seen Blossom wandering around this area. The girl swears she hasn't, so the girls threaten her if she's lying. Mia tells her friends not to scare the girl, so she goes there to interrogate her. This shameless woman asks the poor girl if she heard the rumors about Blossom, and if she could confirm if these stories are real. The girl said that she doesn't know anything, and that even living on the street, she has never seen Blossom around there. To intimidate the girl, Mia said that if she is lying, she will tear off her hat right there in front of everyone. Therefore, the girl says that some people who also live in this region saw Blossom in a restaurant nearby. In response, Mia says that if by chance she has lied, she'll suffer the consequences at school. When leaving, the girls keep talking bad about Blossom, saying that she does anything for money. The next day early, he wakes up all drooling and with his hair messed up. It was the weekend, and he needed to make breakfast for the girl. When getting up, she was already standing preparing everything. For me, breakfast is placed on the table, and his cheeks turn red when seeing her in that position. Now he says good morning, and realizes that there was only enough food for him to eat. Then he asks if she is not going to have breakfast. She was getting ready to go, as she was going to meet with a person on yesterday's phone call. Matt gets worried, asking where she's going, and she says that she's going to a place not so far away. And when she's about to leave through the door, she says that she may not come back tonight. That already leaves Matt sweating cold, as he's afraid that she will never come back. Alone at home, he realizes how lonely it is to stay there without her, and already starts to miss the girl. The anxiety makes him imagine her never coming back. It would be horrible not to have her around. It was already 9 at night, and she still hadn't returned. He even thinks about sending a message, however it seems that he would be being too intrusive, and the only thing he thinks is if she would be safe. He remembers the rumors that arise in the school about her going out with men for money, and even if he doesn't want to think that this is real, he can't get it out of his head and keeps thinking that she's doing exactly that to earn a living. However, he shouts, saying that this is ridiculous, that she would never do something like that. We see then that she is next to a much older man, and they are walking precisely on that street full of motels. Mia and her friends are in a place nearby having fun in a karaoke. They were there precisely because of Blossom, looking for her. One of her friends, who doesn't quite agree with this persecution, says that maybe they are just rumors about Blossom and that maybe she doesn't do that kind of thing. Mia asks if she is saying that because she is too lazy to look for the girl. Then she simply gets up and starts kicking her friend's legs, saying that she is doing a massage so that her legs don't hurt when walking in search of evidence against Blossom. You will see how terrible this Mia is. At that moment, the short-haired girl sees Blossom down there walking with that older guy. She shouts for Mia to come running to check. They go down there and don't find the girl, so they start running everywhere in order to get some proof. A time passes and Mia was already without hope and gets upset on the sidewalk. She even starts cursing, saying some swear words, then her friend shows on the cell phone the photos that she had taken. And in one of the photos, it is possible to see perfectly the guy giving a large amount of money to her. That already makes Mia give an evil smile, because her plan would go into action. It was almost 11 o'clock at night, and Matt misses Blossom. He remembers that when she came here, she made sure to close all the curtains. From the window, he can see the girl arriving at his apartment, and there he is quite happy, and even starts jumping for joy. At that moment, on his cell phone, several messages arrive from a new group on WhatsApp that Mia had created to expose the images of Blossom, and saying that she really works selling herself to older guys. Matt doesn't see these messages, that is, running to welcome Blossom. He asks if she had a good day, and she said that it was more or less. She was very serious and starts to mess in her backpack and ends up taking out a large amount of money and delivers it to him. He asks what this money is for, and if he should use it to buy something to eat. She said that this money is to help with the rent, for her living there with him. Matt said that she doesn't need to pay anything, while she replies that the boy can't be too nice, because that way other people will take advantage of him. She said that she's going to take a bath, and he sits on the couch and remembers that he didn't say thank you. At that moment, he notices his cell phone vibrating and goes to check what the notifications are, and notices all those messages. Several students were cursing her with the worst possible names, and he sees that photo of her and realizes that it is the money that she had given him to pay the rent. The next day early, the girl is in the living room watching TV, and he can't stop thinking about that. He knows that the girl didn't know about the subject, as she wasn't in the group, and at that moment even he starts to doubt that. Sam goes to his house and they realize by the camera that Blossom hides behind the wall. Our hero opens the door, welcoming, and had noticed that there were 2 shoes at the entrance. Therefore, Blossom was there. He asked his friend if that girl was there, and quite embarrassed, he admits saying yes. Then Sam invites them to go to the park down there to take some photos and ends up convincing the girl to go along. Arriving there, she looks at the flowers in the park and starts photographing with her cell phone. However, the photos were not that good, and Sam offers his camera for her to photograph. He said that he will use his phone, as he has the knack for taking pictures, and the girl thanks him. While she was using his camera, he talks to his friend about the rumors in the group. Sam would like to know if Matt knew about that story, and when they looked at her, they couldn't believe that it was true. Blossom looks at them while they were talking about her. Matt said that he didn't tell her about the rumors. Then Sam goes there to ask if that was real. Matt even pulls his friend's arm so that he doesn't say anything, but it didn't work. He confronts the girl, showing the photo, and asks if she receives money to sleep with men. She doesn't say anything and remains calm, turning off the machine. She said that it doesn't matter what she says, as everyone wants that to be real. Matt said that it doesn't matter what people say, because he believes in the girl. And with that, Sam said that if his friend trusts her, he would also trust. Then she reveals to them that she doesn't do that kind of thing. The next day, he's getting ready to go to school and remembers the conversation his friend had with her, where he said that she is dangerous for Matt, because these rumors would put a boy in danger. He gets scared, thinking that now she won't go to school anymore, but at that moment she appears calling him to go together. On the way, he is worried because people are going to bully her. However, she was the type of confident girl and didn't pay attention to what people said. That's what he thought, but he ends up seeing her trembling a lot, and she was clearly afraid. It was common for someone to get nervous in this situation, so to leave the girl more calm, he decides to do a magic trick. He shows the coin and then performs the trick, making the coin disappear. She keeps staring at him and doesn't seem to have found much funny. However, the coin ends up falling from his hand and the trick had failed. She squats down to pick up the coin and says that as the trick failed, she'll keep that money. They continue going to school. That trick hadn't been enough to make her excited, but even so, she had still smiled at him. Therefore, he was going to protect her, no matter what happened. At school, people gossiped about those images of Blossom, and Mia was feeling good for having spread this news at school. In the classroom, the teacher explained about the subject, but the students didn't stop looking and judging the girl. Our hero knew what was happening, but he doesn't have the strength or courage to defend her. Then the girls start making jokes, and the teacher gets angry, telling the class to be quiet. She feels quite uncomfortable, and the main character does nothing about it. Everywhere she goes, people keep provoking her, and Matt follows her so that he can defend her if something bad happens. He was quite insecure, saying that he is not strong enough to defend her, but even so, he would stay close. She goes to the women's bathroom and realizes that he is following her. These cheeks turn red, so he waits outside. It was as if she was making sure that he was there to protect her. Although it didn't seem like it, she was quite scared. A group of girls was following Blossom and go to the bathroom to wet the girl. Matt hears all that and already gets up nervous to go there to protect his beloved. However, to his misfortune, Sid appears. The shameless one didn't like our hero out of jealousy, as he walked together with Blossom. He would like to know how much the girl charged to go out with a boy, but our hero gets angry and says that all that is a lie. Sid starts hitting Matt, and while this happens in the bathroom, the girls wet Blossom with a hose and keep making fun of her. Sia drags our main character by the hair to the outside, and Blossom leaves the bathroom all wet. She looks at the place where her friend was, but he wasn't there anymore, and she is in doubt if he didn't have the courage to protect her, or if something happened to him. The shameless one of Sid had dragged him to the roof of the school. Blossom runs to Matt's room, but doesn't see him there. He was taking a beating from that bully, and Blossom calls him to find out what is happening. The bully continues giving a beating to our hero, and Blossom was desperately looking for the boy in all the corridors. She goes to her classroom, imagining that he was there looking for her, and her desk was with several items that the other students had left there to make fun of her face. No matter where she looked, she didn't find him, and at that moment, Sid appears late for class. The teacher asks what he was doing, and the boy says that he was in the bathroom. At that moment, Sam feels that something wrong is not right. Blossom, in another room, can't stop being worried about him and decides to go out to look for him. She ends up meeting Sam, and the two decide to look together, as he wasn't anywhere. After a while, they end up finding him fallen on the roof. He said that he was quite hurt and couldn't go back to the classroom like that, and maybe it is better if he went home. He was quite hurt, and that leaves Sam enraged. Mia was looking for Sam, and when finding him, said that she had something important to say to him, but he ends up passing straight without listening to her. He goes to Sid to confront him and already arrives giving a blow to the face of this shameless one. The kick is so strong that it ends up launching him far away. He starts hitting that bully, saying that he had warned not to get close to Matt, and ends with the race of the boy. Later, our hero was all hurt in his house, and Blossom was taking care of him. The poor thing thanks her for being quite attentive. The girl was going to miss school just to take care of him, and the boy gets quite sad for being weak and not being able to protect her properly. He remembers how attentive she was that day. She would like to take him to the infirmary, but Sam said that it wasn't a good idea because the teachers could ask questions and discover that she had run away from home, and that was true, so they decided not to tell anyone. Enraged, Sam says goodbye and says that he hopes to see them tomorrow and then leaves to hit Sid. Matt knew that his friend was angry and that probably the bully had been beaten a lot. He was also afraid that his friend would think that all that was the fault of Blossom and start to bother her. Now he even knew that really all the bad that was happening to Matt was because of the rumors about her, and in one way or another she represented a danger to him. Therefore, she was with the suitcases ready to leave from there. He runs to her and says that the girl can't leave his apartment because she doesn't have another place to stay. She says that she is only putting him in danger and that he had been hurt because of her. Everything that stays around her ends up going wrong. She was determined to leave from there so as not to negatively affect his life. However, our hero holds her hands and says that he won't let her go anywhere. She pulls his arm, but he doesn't let go and holds firm. She starts trembling because she was quite distressed. He says that she doesn't have any place to go. That's why she came to his house. That's why he would like her to stay there, because this house was theirs. She also lived there from now on. She has some memories of her house, seems to have some traumas with respect to that. Then she asks if he is serious, if she could really stay there. She was crying a lot, and he says that she can stay as long as she wants, because the house was now theirs. With that, the girl collapses and starts crying a lot. And you will see later on how she had a difficult life. And so, she grabs firmly the hands of our hero. The next day early, several students are commenting about the fight that Sam had with Sid, and that the bully had been beaten by the nerd. Blossom observes Sam calling her to talk outside. Then she gets up and goes there. She said that Matt is worried about him, even more for him having fought. And with that, Sam already says in the face that it is all her fault. Because of her, his friend was putting himself in danger. And that could get even worse. If it depended on him, he would prevent her from going out with Matt. However, he can't do something like that with his friend, as it would be unfair to force him to something, and besides, there seemed to be a good reason for her to stay at Matt's house, that maybe there's a better way to deal with this situation. If he told everyone that that story about her are just rumors, there would be a chance of them believing him, as he had a lot of influence in the school. Matt shows up and tells his friend not to do that, as it could cause new fights, and anyway, people would quickly forget what had happened. The girl starts hugging his arm, and Sam sees that she trusts his friend a lot, and that therefore he decides to stay out of this matter. He only warns that if something happens, they should tell him. Our hero realizes that she was hugging his arm, and she's ashamed to walk out in front. He couldn't understand what was going on in Blossom's mind, and she was as if she were a very big enigma for him. When leaving, she turns around with a smile and tells him to come along, and the boy's cheeks turn red. He knew that Blossom depended on him, and that now this house belonged to both of them, and that therefore he should take responsibility for having said that. He was sleeping peacefully in his bed, and when he wakes up, Blossom was lying next to him. He gets all emotional and wonders what she is doing there. He didn't understand if she liked him or if she simply saw him as a boy. She seemed like an angel sleeping, and he can't stop looking. At dawn, she wakes up and doesn't see him beside her. With that, she already starts looking for the room where Matt is. He was talking to his parents on the phone, and they were saying that they will spend a week at his son's house, as they took some time off from work. At that moment, he knows that a big problem has arisen, because his parents couldn't know that there's a girl living in the apartment with him. He explains to Blossom that his parents took time off and will come tomorrow to spend a week. She said that there is no problem because she can manage for a week. He asked where she is going, quite worried, and she told him not to worry about that. Mia was talking to her friends, and that girl with long hair said that Sid was going to get beaten up for having messed with Blossom. That leaves the girl quite jealous, because her friend was implying that Sam liked that unbearable blonde girl. Therefore, she starts threatening the girl, saying that she'll tear her tongue off, and ends up kicking the poor thing. She pulls her hair and says that lately she has been quite irritating and is saying unpleasant things. In reality, she manipulated her friends to bring information to her, but didn't like to hear the truth. Even another friend gets scared, because Mia has been quite aggressive, even more than usual. She starts crying, saying that they are irritating and doesn't accept Sam liking another person other than her. And with that, she runs away, crying. At the end of the class, he says goodbye to Blossom, as she will spend a week in another place, because his parents will be at his house, and asks if she will be okay. And she nods, saying goodbye to him. She goes through a quite dark and narrow corridor, and he feels guilty, because a few days ago he had said that that house was theirs, and now he was making her sleep in another place. She stops in the middle of the way and keeps thinking where she's going because she doesn't have any place to go. She decides to go to a cyber cafe, and arriving there goes to the bathroom to change clothes. She puts on her typical clothes, then starts messing with the computer. Later, one of the boys at school recognizes her and ends up calling a friend to go there to ask how much she charges to stay with them. They start bothering her, saying that they know her from school and that they have enough money to stay with her. Blossom tries to ignore, but just keep insisting. Quite scared, she gets up and decides to leave from there. She runs outside to try to shake off the boys, but they follow her and say that they haven't done anything bad to her, and if by chance the girl imagined that they didn't have enough money. She asks how much they have, and the boys already get her with flushed cheeks, all hopeful. She says that it will cost 10 million each, and that already leaves them quite angry, asking if she thinks they look like idiots. With that, she takes her cell phone and pretends to be calling someone. They ask what she is doing, and Blossom replies that she's calling those 3 students who were expelled last year, and that she's going to tell them that these boys in front of her were bothering her. With that, the shameless ones get scared and decide to run away. As soon as they flee, she also starts running. Blossom was quite scared, because she didn't have anywhere place to go, and people seemed to detest her. Imagine the despair that she was feeling, and the only thing that she could think to feel safe was in our hero. With that, she ends up tripping and falling on the floor. She stops in a place and does a bandage. Her knee was quite hurt, and when looking at the palm of her hand, she was also quite scratched. Besides not having money nor a place to stay, she was also hungry. At that moment, she finds Sam passing by there. He sees that she is hurt, but the girl says that nothing much happened. He realizes that the girl doesn't trust him very much and was leaving. However, she was already getting paranoid due to the persecutions that she was suffering, and for all the strange people that she looked at in the street, she felt that she was being judged. Sam calls her and asks if she would like to eat. For not having money, she ends up accepting. He brings 2 hot dogs and gives one to her. Now she asks how much it cost, because she would like to pay, but he told her not to worry about that. She thought that he didn't like her, and he confirms that he doesn't like, but ended up buying for her because she seemed not to have money. They sit in the square and start eating. She makes sure to say that she also doesn't like him because he seems to be scary. However, he hadn't done anything to her, and asks why she doesn't like him. In response, Blossom says that he is a guy who beats people, and in his defense, Sam said that he only did that to protect his friend. She thanks. And he asks if she really liked Matt. She said yes, because he was very nice. He was asking in a romantic sense, but she hadn't understood, so he said that she's just a child. She had breadcrumbs in her hair, and she bites her hair to eat. With that, he said that she is really a child. She gets up angry and says that she is not a child and he is a bully. That leaves Sam irritated and said that he didn't hit Sid for nothing. They then start arguing, he calling her a child and she calling him a bully. She shows the tongue to him and the boy gets with flushed cheeks. He said that he didn't imagine that she was so talkative like that, and the girl is ashamed. He ends up admitting that he doesn't hate her and that she is quite nice. As both were friends of Matt, it would be good that they were also friends, and asks if she also finds him nice. And the girl said no. They needed to go to the bus stop, if not, they would miss the last bus of the night. Matt's parents were worried because he was with his face hurt, and he had given an excuse saying that he got hurt playing soccer. In reality, he couldn't stop thinking about Blossom. He was quite worried if she had found a place to sleep. She arrives at the bus stop with Sam, and he said that the bus that goes to Matt's neighborhood is about to pass, because she is staying at his house. She confirms that she is staying at his house. A bus arrives, and Sam says that it is good for her to go quickly. However, the girl keeps stalling to enter, and Sam knew that she didn't have where to sleep because his friend's parents were visiting him. With that, he invites the girl to stay at his house, and she says that he is quite irritating. Without choices, she ends up accepting to go there. When arriving at his house, he asks the girl to be quiet, and they enter on tiptoes to not wake up his parents. She goes up in front of him, and the shameless Sam can't help but look at the girl's legs and even gets with flushed cheeks. When arriving at the room, he tells her that the shorts that she's wearing are quite short, and she gets embarrassed, trying to cover her legs. He tries to give an excuse, saying that he wasn't looking at her legs, and the girl says that he is a jerk. With that, he decides to get some clothes for her to wear, as she doesn't seem to have brought some pajamas. With that, he hands the clothes to her and says goodbye. She asks where he's going, and he says that he is not going to sleep in the same room as her. With that, Blossom gets irritated and gives a kick in his butt. He asks why she did that, and she says that she just asked where he was going because she was sorry. He gives a sigh and tells her not to worry because they are friends. While she was lying down, her cell phone receives a message. Matt was quite worried, asking if she had found a place to sleep, and she gives a smile because she realizes that he really cares about her. She was about to say that she was at Sam's house, however she erases the message and says that she is at a friend's house, but preferred to be at his house. That leaves the poor of our hero quite excited. These cheeks get even flushed. While she was sleeping, the door of her room is opened and she realizes that someone is trying to enter there. Sam was sleeping in the living room and wakes up hearing some noise in Blossom's room. He runs there to see if she was okay, and the girl was playing Ginga with his brother. He gets relieved because he imagined that the noise was from his parents, and tells his brother not to speak so loud because he could wake up Mom and Dad. But Blossom says that Steven told that they are not at home, and that they went to visit the grandparents. Sam charges his older brother, saying that he wasn't supposed to enter his room because he had promised. The girl admonishes Sam for not pointing the finger at the others, because that makes people get upset, saying that he must speak with respect with his older brother. She tells then to Steven that he can't enter his brother's room, being that he promised that he wouldn't do that. And the boy was getting along well with Blossom. That makes Sam get impressed, because his brother doesn't get along well with strangers. She was laughing a lot with Steven's jokes, and in that hour, Sam gets all in love with Blossom, and his heart beats even stronger. He didn't understand what feeling that was, and knew that when he looked at her, he felt something different with his heart. The next day, he was prevented from seeing Blossom, but she was going to school. She smiles to Sam, and he gets with flushed cheeks, and she doesn't understand why he's like that. He said that he didn't imagine that she smiled like a normal person, and that it even seemed that her face was broken. With that, Blossom gives a kick in his leg. She said that she will wait for Matt, and as Sam is liking her, he doesn't want to stay beside the two together and gives an excuse saying that he needs to arrive earlier. He asks if she told Matt that she's staying at his house, and she said that she will only tell that later. Sam said that it is better not to tell, because he would find bad for her to be sleeping at another boy's house. Blossom said that it is true, even more for someone like him that likes to keep looking at the leg of the girls, and he keeps saying that she understood everything wrong. Later she ends up meeting with Matt, and he gets emotional because it had been a lot of time that he didn't see her. She was very beautiful, and just by looking at her he got with flushed cheeks. She says hello, and the sucker gets all emotional. During the class she goes to the bathroom, and he decides to go there to protect her from possible bullying. He stays outside, dying of shame and at the same time nervous because he knows that he is not strong enough. Those sassy girls go there again. However, that time, Blossom had brought an umbrella to protect herself from the water. They turn on the hose and start throwing water at the girl. However, she protects herself with the umbrella. One of the girls outside tries to protect Blossom, and with that, Mia starts hitting her. This shameless woman asks our heroine if she remembers her. The protagonist stays outside, hearing all the noise, when suddenly some girls leave running. From inside comes out Mia together of Blossom. Our hero gets worried, asking himself what is happening. Soon after that, he imagines that she is sleeping at this girl's house, and Blossom whispers for him not to worry. At that moment, he realizes that she knew that he cared about her and gets emotional. The fake of Mia takes Blossom to have a snack. The girl remembers the first time that she talked with Blossom and had invited her to a karaoke. That happened last year, and on that occasion, one of Mia's friends kept hitting on Blossom. She knew that the girl was bothered, but it reveals that at the time she didn't do anything because she was afraid that the boy would start to bother her. The shameless tries to take advantage of Blossom, but she told him not to touch her and then leaves. Mia apologizes, saying that that was her fault, and says that after that time, everyone at school started spreading rumors about her. Mia is quite fake and says that she is not supporting people saying lies about the girl, and that they are doing that because they are envious of her being beautiful and confident. Doesn't say anything and continues eating, and that leaves Mia even more irritated, because she thinks that the girl is snobbish. Before going back even to the class, she asks for Blossom's phone number, and she ends up passing. When saying goodbye, she said that she will invite her to do something later. At the end of the class, she sends a message to Blossom, saying that she will meet with the other friends later, and that boys are not allowed. Rejects, saying that she won't be able to go, however Mia keeps insisting. Sam sends a message saying that there will be class until later, and that she needs to meet with him at 10 o'clock of the night. Therefore, she ends up accepting to go out with Mia. She says goodbye to Matt, saying that she hopes to see him tomorrow at school, and in sequence meets with the girls. Mia is going to take them to eat something, and the other two girls behind already feel a little uncomfortable because it seems to be an evil plan of Mia. She even keeps threatening the girls to not make that face of discouraged, and they try to disguise. They go to a makeup store. Mia keeps trying to seem nice and passes some lipsticks on Blossom to test which color combines more with her. The poor of our heroine is believing that Mia wants to be her friend, and the other girls also keep being friendly with her. With that, Blossom starts opening up a little more, and even chooses a lipstick that would combine with the skin tone of Mia. It is that girl that doesn't agree much with that, and feels a little sorry because she knows that Mia is plotting something. After eating something and having fun, they go to another place. In the middle of the way, Sam ends up meeting with them and realizes that Blossom was together of Mia. He finds strange because Mia had said days ago that she didn't know Blossom, and that leaves the boy a little suspicious. Our heroine had had a lot of fun and says goodbye to the girls, saying that she needs to go home because it was already 10 o'clock of the night. Mia gives a little excuse, saying that it was her birthday and that, in fact, they would celebrate at a friend's house, therefore it would be important for Blossom to come along. It is that her friend of short hair said that Mia's birthday wasn't this month, and Mia keeps scaring her. With that, she ends up convincing Blossom, and she sends the message to Sam, saying that she will stay at a friend's house and that she sees him tomorrow at school. Blossom already starts realizing that something wrong is not right, and Mia is quite strange. But even so, she imagines that it is a thing of her mind. because she is feeling that she is being persecuted, then it might not be anything much. When arriving at the house of this such friend, Blossom realizes that the place is all dirty. Mia tells her to sit down because the boys will already appear. At that moment, she realizes that there is something of wrong and that it would be better to leave. But even so, she stays there. That girl of long hair keeps feeling guilty, and at that moment, the boys appear. One of them was the boy that last year hit on Blossom, and as soon as they arrive, Mia presents the new friend, and they already keep staring at her. She starts trembling with fear because the boys are young delinquents. One of them starts hitting on our heroine, and she tells me that it is better to go home, and at that moment, they start intimidating the girl. The girl goes there outside to call Matt, because she knows that Mia is planning to do something very wrong. The bully Shameless approaches Blossom and asks if she remembers him. She gets scared and says that she's going to leave. However, he starts laughing and says that he was joking, therefore she didn't need to get scared. The girl was telling Matt that Blossom was in danger, and he needed to see quickly, and ends up sending the address of the place to his WhatsApp. The boys keep surrounding Blossom, passing pickup lines on her, and Mia seems to like to see all this scene. As soon as one of them then touches Blossom, she shakes her shoulders for him to take his hand off her. Matt is running in the direction of the place, and in the middle of the way, decides to call Sam and ask him to go there too, because he had a bicycle and could arrive first. So, the two boys leave running to rescue Blossom. The Shameless continues insisting, and the girl gets up to leave, because she is quite bothered and scared. At that moment, the Shameless pulls her by the hair and says that she is not going anywhere. With that, the other boys lock the door, and it's at that moment that Sam arrives, hitting a flying kick in the Shameless. Blossom realizes that they came to her rescue, and Mia doesn't understand how Sam discovered. So the brawl starts, and even that Sam was strong. He can't fight with the three at the same time and starts being beaten by them. Mia starts screaming for them not to hurt or crush, because that way they would kill him. However, the Shameless ends up hitting even on her. Blossom screams desperately for them to stop, and Sam was getting hurt a lot. It is at that moment that appears the hour of Matthias to shine. He arrives there, observes all that scene, and already takes a helmet that was on the table, and hits in the head of one of the bullies. With that, the fight gets a little more balanced. Later we see that they manage to get away, and Blossom apologizes, because all that was her fault. Matt told her not to worry, and the important thing is that she was okay. Sam was also relieved, because it seemed that he was going to get beaten until death, and with that, the girl gets quite sad. Mia didn't know who had called Sam, because they hadn't seen Blossom with the cell phone in hand at any moment. And she gets quite upset, because the boy that she liked knew that she had set up all that. With that, Mia puts in her head that all of bad that is happening with her love life is Blossom's fault, and she already took up the stylist, saying that she won't forgive that arrogant girl. The three walk back to their houses, and Blossom asks if Matt is not going to ask her how all that happened. He said that he is sure that she had a good reason to have gone through that, and she thanks, saying that he is quite a nice guy. With that, they had arrived until a point where they were going to unmeet, and in that hour, Blossom tells that she's staying at Sam's house. He starts laughing, acting naturally, and said that his parents will leave tomorrow early and that if she wants to come back to stay at his house, she'll be very welcome, and says goodbye quickly, leaving. Sam got embarrassed for his friend having discovered that, and Blossom didn't expect this reaction of him. In the background, Matt was quite sad for her to be sleeping at Sam's house and even thinks that it would make more sense for her to stay with him because he was much better than him in practically everything. At that moment, he realizes that he is in love with Blossom, and that if he wanted to stay with her, he should take some action. She asked Sam if the wounds are hurting, and he said no. Comment here for us if you prefer for Blossom to stay with Sam or with Matt. When arriving home, they take a bath, and he told her to rest a lot, because the day was quite busy. However, he comes back to the room and says that he would like to ask something to her. He wanted to know why she was so close to Matt. In reality, he was also liking her, but couldn't tell that to the girl because his best friend also liked her. Therefore, he wanted to know what type of relation that she had with Matt. Then, he asks why she lives with him. She said that it is because she saw his family reuniting every night. When she was a child, her father and her mother fought a lot. There came an hour that the fight was so much that they divorced. The poor little thing of Blossom kept listening to all that fight, and after her father left, her mother started drinking a lot. She spent the night looking through the window and saw Matt's family having fun together, and that was something that she didn't have. She was obligated to stay locked inside the room because her mother started going out with several guys, and when seeing Matt's happy family, she dreamed of someday living there and having a normal family. Therefore, she always watched Matt playing with his father and I with his mother, until she arrived at their high school and ended up staying in the same class as him. Finally, she was without money and he didn't have where to go anymore, because her mother didn't even care about her. Therefore, she took courage and asked to go live together with Matt, because she had seen through the window that he was living alone. The guy with whom she was meeting and giving her money was her father, paying the alimony, It is that way that she started living together with our main character. Sam thanks her for having told that, and it admits that it must not have been easy her life. She said that Matt is a very nice guy. And with that, Sam goes to lay down and can't stop thinking about this story, and realizes that she must have suffered a lot, because her parents didn't care about her. He should be feeling happy, because now she is having a different life, but he didn't know why he was so sad. So that happens because he was also in love with her, and would have to dispute the girl together of his best friend. When they're going to school, Blossom sees Matt and shouts his name. Now, you gets happy of seeing her there, and when he realizes that Sam is beside him, the atmosphere gets a little heavy. Sam is without grace, because he is also liking Blossom. Then the two greet each other in a quite embarrassing way. Later, his parents say goodbye to him, and soon after he calls Blossom that she can go up, and then she appears in his apartment, leaving the boy all in love. She asks if he has already had dinner, and he said no. Then she reveals that she brought a little food for him, and so the routine of the two returns to normal, living together. Sam had won 3 tickets for a show and ends up inviting our hero to go together and also invites Blossom. This was Matt's favorite band, and he ends up insisting for Blossom to go together because it will be quite fun. Mia keeps listening to all that and nurtures feelings of hate and frustration and wishes at any cost to avenge of our heroine. Later, when the class ends, he asks Blossom if she is already ready for them to go together. He was quite excited, because this was a show that he was waiting for a lot of time, and because of the rush, he didn't remember that this band was in the city. At that moment, a girl appears all trembling, saying that the teacher would like to talk with her. With that, he told Blossom to wait, that he will be right back. She really stays waiting, and we see that everything is part of a plan of Mia. He asks the girl which teacher wants to talk with him, and she reveals that it is the art teacher, and therefore he should wait there, that she was going to tell him that Matt had arrived. She enters there inside and keeps disguising for some minutes. Then the teacher appears and asks what she is doing there. She only wanted to stall and pretend that really there was some teacher wanting to talk with Matt. Then she comes back there outside and said that the teacher sent Matt to wait. Blossom was waiting for her friend, and at that moment, another girl appears saying that Sam, together with Matt, were on the outside and asked her to warn that they were waiting for the girl. She was also uncomfortable for lying, and Blossom thanks and said that she is going there to meet with them. At that moment, Mia realizes that her plan is working. Sam appears and asks what Matt is doing there, and if by chance he saw Blossom. He said that Blossom was at the door of his room waiting for him. However, Sam guarantees that she's not there, and he already starts suspecting something. With that, the art teacher appears and asks why the girls haven't left yet. Matt says that his colleague said that the teacher wanted to talk with him, and the teacher denies, saying that he didn't say anything. The girl is all trembling, saying that she only lied because Mia had threatened her and that, in fact, this bully was planning to do something with Blossom. With that, the boys leave running there to save the girl. Blossom's also quite naive, and the girl points to a dark corridor saying that her friends are there. It is our heroine walks slowly and meets with Mia and her friend. Matt and Sam ran desperately, calling for Blossom around the school, and that friend that is mistreated by Mia decides to call the emergency, because she knows that something very bad will happen. Mia keeps saying that Blossom's a snob, and that she thinks a lot, and even reveals that she is getting jealous, because she is very close to Sam, and asks if they are dating. Blossom said no, and at that moment, Mia already gets angry, saying that she saw the two flirting. Blossom starts feeling quite scared and keeps denying everything, and, when she is to flee, Mia grabs her by the arm and takes a stylus out of her pocket, saying that she will spoil this pretty face so that no other boy gets in her mood. The boys ran a lot and were close to the place where they were. When they arrived, they realize Mia with the stylus in hand trying to hurt Blossom. The girl screams, saying that she is crazy. Sam tells her to lower the knife and she threatens to hurt Blossom, and at that moment, Matt runs and gets in the front to save his beloved, and because of that, he ends up being hurt. Later, the police arrives at the place and arrests Mia. Our hero is being helped by the ambulance and will need to stay under observation. Already with the bandage, he tells Blossom that he is okay, and she doesn't need to stay worried. However, the girl was crying a lot because she felt guilty. He told her not to cry because he really was okay. Some students comment that Mia is a crazy, and that now she'll be expelled from the school and will spend some time in the reformatory. Matt is hospitalized at the hospital, and his friend goes there to visit him and takes a little food. Blossom didn't leave his side even for an instant. Sam said that she can leave to rest, otherwise she'll get sick from fatigue. However, the girl says that she's okay and won't leave Matt's side. She goes there outside to get some air, and Sam hands a can of soda to her. He can't help but look at the girl and finds her quite pretty, and his cheeks get even flushed. He resolves that he would declare himself to her, and when he starts speaking for the 4th time, saying that Matt is a very good person. She said that she has always been grateful for everything that he did, but now she thought that she really liked him. At that moment, Sam realizes that he lost for his friend, and he admits that Matt is a very nice guy, and even remembers the first time that he met him. That had been in the 6th grade, and besides being nice, Matt was one of the only people that treated well his older brother, and the boy is practically like a brother for him. Therefore, Sam understood why Blossom liked him so much, and the girl gets all in love when thinking of him. It doesn't take long and he is discharged from the hospital and they walk together. Sam says goodbye because his house is for another way, and he realizes that his friends get along very well together, and he gets happy for his friend having found a passion. Coming back home together, Matt decides that he should declare himself soon to her, because he liked the girl a lot. He said that he is happy for her not having gotten hurt and that she is transforming his life that before was lonely and empty. She gives a smile and says that he is a sucker. However, he stops, and she stays some steps in front of him. Our hero is taking courage to declare himself. Then he said that, in fact, he likes her and wants to spend all his life beside the girl. She adjusts her hair and gives an angelic smile, saying that she also likes him a lot and wants to spend more time together with the boy. They still had a lot to learn, but it seems that finally the spring arrived for them, and so they give the hand and leave for home. With that, we finalize the work, Spring of Blossom. So that's it, guys. If you liked it and want me to bring more stories like this, drop a comment. See you next time.